Growing older is a journey filled with wisdom, peace, and reflection. But not everyone on this path will help you grow. In fact, some people, even those closest to us, can hold us back, drain our energy, and disturb our peace. In today's video, we will explore 5 types of people you must avoid in old age, according to Buddhist wisdom. Because your peace and happiness depend on who you allow into your life. If you want to protect your heart and walk your path with calm and clarity, this lesson is for you. Lesson 1. The constant complainer, the one who drowns peace. As we grow older, something in us begins to shift. It is not always easy to explain, but it is felt deeply. We start to understand that peace is not just a pleasant feeling. Peace is a necessity. Peace becomes air, and everything that disrupts that peace becomes painful, not just emotionally, but spiritually. And so we begin to notice something we may have overlooked when we were younger, something we may have tolerated, even laughed off. But now it feels heavy, too heavy. It is the presence of the constant complainer, a quiet elderly person sitting on a bench. Someone beside them speaks rapidly, angrily, non-stop. The elder looks away, distant. You know the one, the person who never finds a reason to smile, who turns every sunrise into a burden, every good moment into a warning, every conversation into a long, winding, exhausting storm. They complain about everything: the neighbors, the government, their children, their siblings, the news, the food, their body, your decisions, their past, your future. And when they run out of things to criticize, they find something new. At first you listen, out of respect, out of duty, out of kindness, because that is what we were taught, to be patient, to be understanding. But eventually, if you are paying attention, you will feel it, a kind of spiritual erosion. Their words are not just words, they are tiny stones thrown into the calm waters of your heart. And over time, they stir up the mud at the bottom, ripples in water becoming more chaotic with each stone dropped. The Buddha taught that our words carry power, that right speech, that kind, honest, gentle, meaningful speech, is part of the Eightfold Path. But this person, the constant complainer, speaks without awareness. Their words are weapons, and they do not even know they are swinging them. And the worst part, they will tell you that they are just being real, that they are just telling the truth, that you are too sensitive, too soft, too spiritual. But here is the truth the Buddha would remind us of. Even if a person speaks 100 words, if they bring no peace, better is one word if it brings stillness. The constant complainer does not bring stillness. They bring tension. They bring chaos. They fill the space around them with emotional noise. And slowly, if you are not careful, they will fill you too. A flower garden slowly wilting from dark rain clouds overhead. There is a saying in Buddhism, you become the company you keep. And if your company is constantly drowning in dissatisfaction, eventually your lungs begin to fill with the same water. And this is the most dangerous part. You begin to believe that joy is foolish, that peace is a fantasy, that hope is for the naive. You begin to look at the world through their eyes and forget the softness of your own. You start to speak like them, think like them, react like them, even if you never meant to. And by the time you realize it, you are no longer the peaceful soul you once were. You are carrying someone else's storm inside your quiet body. A monk slowly walking through the forest, the trees whispering in the wind. So what do? We do not hate them, we do not curse them, we do not yell or shame or push with violence, but we step away gently, firmly. We create space, and we understand that some people are addicted to their misery, that no matter how many peaceful mornings they are given, they will find something to be upset about by noon. And in old age, we must make a sacred vow to ourselves. I will not let others make my mind a battlefield. We cannot fix those who do not wish to be healed. We cannot silence those who love the sound of their complaints more than the sound of truth, but we can choose to protect our stillness, to return to silence, to sit, breathe, and let go, gently, slowly, and without guilt. The elder sits alone now, sipping tea again, but now in silence, with peace. The birds return. The sun is soft, because peace is not just the absence of noise, it is the presence of clarity. And in this final season of life, let us choose the company of those who speak to uplift, not to drain, who speak truthfully, not bitterly, who sit with us in silence and make it feel like home. You do not have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Let them find their light while you return to your own. Lesson 2. The one who only remembers you when they need something. A quiet courtyard, early morning. An old man prepares a cup of tea. The phone is silent. Then suddenly, it rings. There is a deep loneliness that is not caused by being alone, but by being used. Being remembered only when it is convenient. Being valued only when you have something to give. And as we grow older, we begin to see it more clearly. The people who disappear when you are sick, but return when they need money. The people who forget your birthday, but remember your number when their car breaks down. The people who call you family, but only when they want something from you, not something with you. The elder answers the phone. The other voice is full of excitement, but only until they get what they want. Then silence again. Buddhism teaches us that attachment causes suffering. But there is another kind of suffering the Buddha knew well, the pain of false relationships. The pain of being seen not as a human being, but as a resource. In your youth, you may not notice. You may feel proud to be helpful, needed, wanted. But as the seasons pass, you begin to feel the hollowness of it. Because true love does not appear only when it is hungry. True connection does not treat people like a bank or a tool or a temporary solution. Flashbacks of family members laughing at meals long ago, then slowly fading into scenes of being left alone. There are those who say, "But they are my child," or "But they are blood," and that may be true. But even the Buddha left his palace, left his own family, to find truth. Because truth matters more than obligation. And truth is this: if someone only remembers you when they need something, that is not love. That is utility. That is convenience. And in this stage of life, you must ask yourself, is your love being returned or simply withdrawn like coins from a well? And if your heart is just a well to draw from, eventually it will run dry. The elder sitting under a tree, reflecting as people pass by, not noticing. The Buddha spoke of mindful relationships. He taught that those who come to you in sincerity and compassion and presence are the ones worth walking beside. But those who come only when they are desperate and vanish the moment they are full, those people are not walking with you. They are walking over you. And you must decide, are you a path for others to trample, or are you a soul deserving of love, presence, and respect? There is no shame in giving. There is no shame in being generous. But there is great wisdom in knowing when your giving is being abused. The elder lets the phone ring this time. They sit in silence. They smile, sipping their tea. Do not let guilt convince you that you owe everyone access to your time. Do not let tradition make you a prisoner to one-sided relationships. You are not a service. You are not a safety net. You are a living, breathing being, worthy of being seen, not just used. And when you stop answering every call that drains you, something beautiful begins to happen. You make room for those who call simply to say, "Are you well? Do you need anything? I I just missed you. The elder receives a message from a friend. No request, just warmth. A gentle smile forms. These are the people you grow old with, not those who drain your time, but those who fill your silence with care. The ones who come not to take, but to sit quietly beside you. In Buddhism, there is a phrase, kalyanamitta, spiritual friends. These are the ones who walk with you toward peace. They do not arrive in crisis. They stay in calm. They do not remember you only in need. They remember you in joy, in stillness, in love. So today, take inventory of who you keep close, who fills your cup be, and who only drinks from it. You are allowed to protect your heart, even from those who once called it home. The elder sits in sunlight, alone but no longer lonely. A gentle breeze, a bird lands nearby. No words, just peace. Because sometimes being remembered for who you are is far more important than being remembered when you are needed. True companionship is not found in need, but in presence. Walk with those who do not forget you, even when they have nothing to gain. Lesson 3, the one who disrespects your boundaries, the subtle thief of peace. A wide, empty path in a forest, a gentle breeze, the soft sound of birds, distant water flowing. As we move through life, we begin to understand that not all harm is loud. Not all pain arrives shouting. Some of it whispers. Some of it wears a familiar face. Some of it even smiles. And among the most dangerous people to our peace are not the enemies we recognize, but the ones who disrespect our boundaries again and again without shame, without awareness, and sometimes without even realizing the harm they are causing, but harm it is. An elder quietly reading. A door opens without knocking. A voice interrupts. The elder lowers the book, softly sighs. The Buddha once said, "Do not go the way of others if it leads you from your own path." And yet how often have we been pulled, gently, subtly, emotionally, from our path, just to keep someone else comfortable? There are those in our lives who believe our time belongs to them, that our silence is theirs to break, that our decisions must always include them, that family or friendship is permission to ignore our no, to challenge our rest, to erase our limits, and if you say nothing, if you stay silent to keep the peace, they will take more, not because they are evil, but because you have taught them that your peace is negotiable. The elder smiling politely at a family gathering, while others laugh over boundaries crossed like jokes. This is how it begins. Small interruptions, constant calls at any hour, questions you never invited, opinions you never asked for, demands you never agreed to. They may say, "I'm just concerned," or "I have the right to know," or worse, "Why are you acting so distant?" And here is the hidden truth. You are not distant. You are just defending your peace, maybe for the first time in your entire life. And that scares them, because the moment you build a wall, those who once entered without knocking now find themselves outside. And instead of respecting the door, they get louder. They push harder. They act like you are the one being cruel. But the cruelty is not in setting a boundary. The cruelty is in pretending nothing has been broken. When your spirit has been stepped on again and again, the elder finally locking the door, gently but firmly, silence returns. Deep breath, eyes close. Buddhism teaches the middle path, the way between self-denial and selfishness. And boundaries are part of that middle path. Because peace is not built by pleasing everyone. It is built by knowing where you end and where others begin. You can love someone deeply and still say, "This is not okay." You can care for someone completely and still say, "Please do not speak to me like that." You can be loyal, honest, devoted, and still say, "I need space. I need silence. I need to choose my own life." The elder walking slowly through a quiet temple garden, alone but calm, the wind brushing the leaves. The Buddha did not allow even his closest students to cross certain lines. Why? Because even compassion must have structure. Even kindness needs a container. And love, if it is real, will never demand the sacrifice of your self-respect. So in this later stage of life, after you have given so much, after you have carried generations, after you have bent to every storm and smiled through every pain, it is time to draw a soft, sacred circle around your spirit and say, only those who can honor my peace may enter. The elder sitting under a Bodhi tree, calm, undisturbed, untouched by the noise of the world outside. You do not need to argue. You do not need to explain. You do not need to apologize for protecting the quiet you worked a lifetime to earn. Let them say what they want. Let them call you too distant, too proud, too quiet. Let them walk away if they must. Because those who walk away from your boundaries were never truly walking with you to begin with. And those who love you in truth will knock gently, will ask before entering, will speak in a voice that respects your stillness. The elder smiling as a true friend arrives. They sit together quietly, peacefully, saying nothing. And yet, everything is said. In the end, boundaries are not walls. They are bridges between your soul and those who can truly walk beside it. Peace begins where your boundary is honored. Keep your circle sacred. Let only the gentle step inside. Lesson 4, the one who mocks your spiritual path, the voice that laughs at stillness. A quiet shrine in the forest. An elder lights incense slowly, alone. The flame flickers. Birds sing faintly in the distance. There's a quiet strength that comes with age, a strength that no longer needs to argue, no longer needs to prove, no longer needs to shout over the world. It is the strength that sits, that breathes, that bows. But not everyone understands this path. Some people laugh at it. They mock your meditation. They roll their eyes when you speak of peace. They smirk when you mention letting go. They dismiss your silence as weakness, your forgiveness as foolish, your spiritual life as a phase, or worse, a joke, a family dinner. The elder quietly says a prayer before eating. Others snicker. One makes a sarcastic comment. The elder stays silent. In Buddhism, there is a teaching called right view, the ability to see things as they are, not as the ego demands. But those who mock your path do not have this view. They see only the surface, the robes, the rituals, the quiet pauses. They do not see the war you have ended within yourself. They do not see the storms you chose not to pass on. They do not see the pain you transformed into gentleness. And so they mock what they do not understand. And sometimes that voice of mockery comes from very close to home, a partner, a sibling, a child, even a lifelong friend, laughing or rolling their eyes when the elder mentions Buddhist practice, spiritual reading, or silence. They say, "You are too soft. This spiritual stuff is not real life. You think sitting and breathing is going to fix anything?" And in these moments, a small ache forms in your heart, not because you are ashamed, but because you hoped that your peace would be enough for them to listen. And maybe once you tried to explain, you tried to share what you found, the wisdom, the clarity, the stillness that took decades to uncover. But their mind was already made up, their laughter louder than their listening. And so now you sit quietly and wonder, why do they need to mock what they do not walk? Why do they need to tear down what they do not understand? The elder walking through a temple corridor, slow and alone. A memory echoes of someone saying, "This is nonsense." The Buddha himself was mocked, called a madman, a deserter, a fool, even by those in his own kingdom, even by those he once loved. But he never retaliated, he never argued, he simply kept walking, because truth does not need defense, and peace is its own protector. When someone mocks your spiritual path, they are not laughing at you. They are laughing at the mirror they are afraid to look into. Your silence reflects their noise. Your discipline reminds them of their chaos. Your stillness makes them aware of their inner unrest. And the ego, when confronted by truth, always laughs first, because that is easier than changing. The elder alone again, meditating, a faint smile on their face, unbothered. And so you must understand, your path is not for approval. Your peace is not a performance. The deepest truths are often walked alone, and those who mock your practice are simply not ready for it. You do not need to fight them. You do not need to explain. You do not even need to convince. You simply need to continue, to sit, to breathe, to bow. The elder now walks through a field of tall grass, untouched, the sky open above, a long silence, only the sound of wind. Let them laugh. While you remain still, let them speak. While you listen to the voice within, let them walk away. While you return to the path that never left you. And one day, if life humbles them, if suffering ripens them, if the storms finally shake them awake, they may remember you, not the words you spoke, but the way you stood still when the world laughed. And in that memory, you may become a lamp to someone who once mocked your fire. The elder lights a small candle, places it before a statue of the Buddha, smiles. Until then, walk your path with grace and let the laughter echo behind you. Walk calmly. Even if they mock your silence is watching them. Stay true to your practice. Let your peace be your proof. Lesson 5. The one who refuses to grow, the anchor that holds you back. A serene lakeside at sunset, water calm, reflecting the sky's warm colors. An elder sits quietly on a bench, eyes gazing at the gentle ripples. Life is a river that flows without end. From birth to old age, it carries us onward, through calm waters and turbulent rapids. And yet, not everyone chooses to move with the current. Among the people you must avoid as you grow older are those who refuse to grow. They cling tightly to the past, to old beliefs, old wounds, old fears. Their hearts are anchored in the same stagnant waters, and they want to keep you there too. The elder listens quietly to a familiar voice repeating the same complaints, the same old stories with a tone of bitterness and stubbornness. These people resist change, not out of wisdom, but out of fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of losing control, fear of becoming someone new, someone different. They may say you should not change. Why fix what is not broken? This is just how we have always been. And in their eyes, your growth looks like a threat. Your peace looks like a betrayal. Your spiritual journey looks like a rejection. The elder gently closes a worn Buddhist scripture and places it down, a soft smile on their face. But the Buddha taught us anicca, the truth of impermanence, that nothing in this world remains fixed or final. Everything changes, everything flows, everything moves toward its own transformation. To resist change is to resist life itself, and those who refuse to grow are caught in suffering, bound by attachments to who they think they are or who they fear they might become. The elder stands slowly and walks along the water's edge, the ripples spreading outward like soft echoes. When someone refuses to grow, they close their heart to compassion. They shut the door on forgiveness. They resist the very possibility of freedom. And this resistance can be contagious. Their fears become chains. Their bitterness becomes a cage. If you stay too close, their stagnation can pull you back, holding you down in waters that no longer nourish you. The elder looks up at the slowly darkening sky, a deep breath, a slight smile. In old age, You deserve something sacred. Freedom. Freedom to evolve. Freedom to let go of the past. Freedom to become who you truly are, not who others expect you to be. You have traveled far. You have weathered storms. You have earned the right to choose your own path. The elder stands and begins walking toward the light on the horizon, leaving shadowy figures behind. So let go of those who anchor you to old storms, those who expect you to stay small, so that they do not feel lost in their own fears. Walk away with a heart full of love, not with bitterness or anger. Walk gently with the peace of one who knows their own worth. The elder walks into bright sunlight, the air filled with the sound of birds and wind through the trees, because the only growth that truly matters is the growth that leads you to peace, the growth that frees your heart, the growth that brings understanding, the growth that allows you to meet each moment with kindness to yourself and others. The elder pauses at the edge of a forest, looks back briefly, then turns fully toward the future. You cannot change those who refuse to grow, and trying to force change on them only causes suffering for them and for you. Instead, cultivate compassion for their fear, but protect your own heart. Choose growth, choose freedom, choose peace. The elder sits quietly beneath a great tree, sunlight filtering through leaves, breathing in deeply. Remember this truth. We all walk our own paths. Some are ready to move forward. Some remain rooted in old soil. Respect their journey, but do not let their roots entangle yours. Your spirit is a river. Flow freely. Grow or stay stuck, but do not let the stuck ones hold you back. Protect your peace. Honor your path. Thank you for watching and taking this time to reflect on who you allow into your life, especially as you grow older. Remember, your peace is precious. Surround yourself with those who uplift your spirit and gently distance yourself from those who do not. Walking the path of wisdom means choosing peace, even when it is difficult. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights on living a peaceful and mindful life. Until next time, may your journey be calm, your heart be light, and your spirit be free.